Welcome back to UFC Ninja. Here's a peek at last week's betting results to get you ready for the Ninja's breakdown on the next card.
Yeah, guys, welcome back. It's the Ninja. So, my producer put up our bets from 2 weeks ago there. We didn't have a show last week, as you all know. But the 2 parlays and 2 props we had, my producer will put up for you. And coming into this week, we got another pay-per-view card. And until like April or March, it's a pay-per-view every other week. So, with what I did last week, not doing a show, I just put more time into this pay-per-view card. And I kind of enjoyed that. I think I might do that until like April or March and give me and my producer both more time to put effort into the show. So hopefully we'll have better content and better bets and make more cash in that way too, because that's really what I started out doing, was betting all before this, and I still do that, and I'm still trying to make a lot of money. And, you know, I'm really a pretty conservative bettor. I always try to like break even or just make a shit ton of money if I don't break even. So I know I think my betting strategy is kind of probably shit for always making money, but it's like either I'll break even or I will make money. I try not to lose a lot, but that's fucking hard to do in the UFC or mixed martial arts. So that's why we're here, boys. Let's fucking break this down. I can bounce my shit off you. You can bounce your shit off me, and we'll make more money that way. So let's get into this card. All right, so we got Tyson, the Islander, Pedro, versus Modestas, the Baltic Gladiator, Bukauskas. No odds out on this one yet. So we got Tyson Pedro. He's the Islander. He's going to be at home in Australia. Modestas, the Baltic Gladiator. I think he should be more of like an archer. He should be called the Archer instead, because he's like just not the right frame to be on the front lines. And Pedro, he's thick, strong, and solid guy, meant to be a fighter on the front lines. I feel like that's going to be the difference here, and the way Pedro feeds off the energy of the crowd, and especially being at home, he's going to be on a credible adrenaline, and he like tames his adrenaline and he uses it really well, like puts him at peace from what I've seen. And I think Modestas, he's going to be a little uptight, and I think that's going to be the difference in the striking in this one, with the way Pedro's going to be able to put him away. He's going to be loose and calm, and Modestas is going to be uptight, and I think it's going to be a striking battle. But I feel like, even though Pedro is on a 2-win streak and he's lost twice before that, and Modestas is on a 2-win streak, he's lost 3 years before that. But, I'm not digging too deep in this one because I'm not going to have any bets on it personally because of, the unpredictability of it. But if you do, good luck to you. And if I had to pick, I would say Tyson by TKO, under 2 rounds. And that's all I got to say on this one, boys. Next up we got Zubaria, the Warrior, Tahuga, versus Els, the Brazilian, Brenner. No odds out on this one yet. Doing this a little bit early cast here, so don't got any odds out yet, but what the Tapology is saying here, let's find out. 96% say Tahuga and 4% say Brenner. So I guess that's kind of how I feel. Brenner doesn't look that bad. Just feel like he's facing somebody so good. Tahuga had Khabib in his corner in his last fight. He's quick, he's aggressive, he controls the cage, he's got a good jab, he's got a big loop in right, he's got good, wrestling sambo. Brenner, he's got good jiu-jitsu, but he spends some time on his back, so I think that's probably where Zubaria is going to put him. His style's like in the pocket. He kind of spars like he fights. I feel like he just takes a lot of shots and just tries to cover up a little bit, and I think that's a bad way to fight. You should spar a little bit cleaner. Maybe he would fight a little bit cleaner in his fights instead of just taking big shots that he normally, can block during sparring because they're only at like 70%. He's taking these shots at 100% in the fights, and I think that's where he's failing. But I don't fucking have any idea really. The guy's a good fighter. He's tough, strong. He's got a lot of good techniques, and he brings a lot to the cage. But against Zubaria here, he's going to be undermatched and underskilled and underexperienced. He's 25. Zubaria's 32. He's got a lot of experience in Russia with Khabib in his corner and stuff. He's getting the right training partners. He's going to put down Brenner on his back and control him. I think Brenner's going to make it to a decision. That's how tough I think Brenner is. But In this fight here, I'm going to take Zubaria to win by decision. Yeah, this next fight, guys, I'm kind of interested in. We got Jamie Malarkey versus Francisco Prado. Francisco's the Argentinian. He's going to be traveling to Malarkey's hometown here, Australia. Malarkey's 28, and Francisco's only 20 years old. And Malarkey has a 15-5 record, and Francisco's 11-0. So Malarkey's got almost twice as many fights as Francisco, which could give him some good experience. Malarkey's also got the UFC experience. He's got them things going for him. Malarkey's got pretty good like karate kind of stance. He's pretty long, got lots of movement, especially in the first round. He tries to be pretty picky about his shots and move around a lot. His front leg's also kind of vulnerable in my opinion. And after watching some of Francisco, he's got a really nice calf kick. It could put it on Malarkey, and he's also got other nice kicks to the body and to the head. And we see Malarkey get dropped by a nice knee from Jalen Turner, and put that fight to a finish. And Malarkey quit out of that fight. And Francisco has a nice jump knee and other body shots that could make Malarkey quit here. And we've seen Malarkey's chin get hit, and Francisco has really nice shots, and he's really powerful. You've seen in some of his fight footage here. My producer put some shit in here for you, but the guy is like unfazed by any sort of a taunts or getting knocked down or any momentum shift in the fight. Even if he's losing, he's unaffected by it. There was another fight where he got accused of poking the other guy in the eye, and he just kept going until the ref stopped it. But it really was a glove, and he was aware of that it was a punch that had hurt the guy's eye, and that's pretty incredible. So the guy knows what he's doing in there. And there's also another fight where he was choking a guy out, and he ended up choking the guy out, and before the guy could tap, and the ref didn't see it, and he had to call the ref over to tell him, hey man, the guy just went out. And so he's super aware of his actions, and it just shows that goes both ways. He's really aware of his defense and offense and momentum shifts in the fight. It doesn't affect him. He's just so focused that, he looks beyond all that stuff. So with him having to travel to the island, being his first time in the UFC, it's all going to be super hyped up for him. But he has the ability to go into another spot in his mind and be focused to the fight no matter what's going on around him. And the dude's a machine. He could get involved in any sort of little controversy and try to tear somebody up, in my opinion. So I think that's pretty good of him, pretty well trained, pretty well focused, and his families are always at the fights, and he's always saying hi to him and waving to him, and he's a super family guy. So he's true to himself, and he's going to be in there, and I think it's going to be a really tough test for Malarkey. We don't have odds out on this fight yet, but I'm going to go with Francisco on this one, and I think I'm going to take him to get it done by TKO. So that's all I got on this one, boys, but good luck to you. All right, next up we got Blake El Animal Builder versus Shane Smokin' Young. Shane Young, 29 years old. Blake's 32. Blake's got a 7-0-1. Shane's 13-6. So it looks like Shane's got a lot more fights, but Blake's got a decent amateur record too. 7 fights or something probably on there. So anyway, I'm not super interested in this fight. I don't see any bets to make here on this fight. I think it's going to be kind of a close fight. Both guys got a chance, but I feel like, Blake's pretty decent all around. He's composed, pretty technical. He's got a good top game. And Blake's like a fighter, more of a natural fighter. Shane Young, he's kind of stiff in there. He's not very energy efficient, not super relaxed. He's just really stiff, and he can get cracked in there. He's pretty decent all around. He fought Volkanovski to his decision. People kind of give him credit for that, and I feel like he just kind of fights to his competition and just uses his energy like inefficiently. And I think Blake's going to be more efficient with his energy for sure. Maybe get the run. Maybe Blake will win by a split decision. I know Shane Young just doesn't have any like specialties, no special moves or anything in particular, and neither does Blake in my opinion. So I think it's just going to be Blake by split decision this one, and no bets, boys. All right, next up we got Kleidson K.R. Rodriguez versus Shannon the Mechanic Ross. Shannon, he's a plus 225, and KR is a minus 285 right now. So for Shannon Ross, he's a former football player, and he's just a mechanic last year. When he was getting on the Contender Series, he was still a mechanic. So Clydeson's been doing martial arts a lot longer. He's got really good natural kinetics in addition to that. He's got great cardio, nice wide stance. He's fast, he's quick. He's got heavy shots, spinning shots, good Muay Thai. He's got a lot of fakes, and he uses a lot of proper technique from what I've seen, like getting out of body locks and other things. Like his technique is all perfect. So against Ross, the mechanic here, if he gets into like a headlock, he might try to be, reaching for like a 10 millimeter or a ratchet. And Clydeson's going to be reaching for the hands and, breaking the grip. So I feel like in this one, I'm leaning pretty heavy towards Clydeson, and I'm thinking Clydeson might get the finish here. So that's really all I got on this one, guys. I respect you if you're going Ross. Dude looks pretty tough and shit like that, but I just don't think he's on the same level as Clydeson, and especially the natural kinetics of Clydeson are really good too. So that's all I got to say on this one, boys. All right, next up, guys, we got Joshua Kuya Kulabo versus Melsik, the Gun, Bagdasarian. Melsik, he's 31. Josh is 28. It's pretty close in age. Melsik is a minus 105, and Josh is a minus 115 right now. Josh is going to be the hometown boy in Australia. I'm not really interested in this fight. It's kind of going to be a close fight, in my opinion, so I got no bets on it. But Melsik, he's a kickboxer. He's got really heavy strikes. Dude's built like a brick. And I think his takedown defense is like 50-50. Josh maybe could do something there. Josh, on the other hand, like he braces for kicks and on fakes and feints and stuff, and his front leg is available to be hit. So I think Melsik could capitalize on that and kind of pick him apart with the strikes. And Josh has that big frame and stuff, and it's defended against a lot of wrestlers. But I think Melsik could pull this off here with just picking apart Josh and go to a decision, because Josh is really tough. But that's all I got to say in this one, guys, and I got no bets of any kind on this one. Good luck to you. All right, next up we got Jack Farr Jenkins versus Don Shameless Sheenus. Shameless, he's at a plus 255, and Jack Jenkins is at a minus 335 right now. Jack, he's sparred with Volkanovski. He's young, he's humble. He's got a couple calf kick finishes. He's got nice punches, elbows. He's a grinder. Hey, chill, bud. He's got decent striking, good top control, and he's got nice little short shots too when he's on top, from what I've seen. And Shameless, on the other hand, he's just a grinder. He's worked his way. He's been hit a lot, and going through some of his footage, I found one particular clip that I thought Johnny over at Tiger Bomb MMA would like and appreciate. In case you didn't see it, we're going to have it roll with some audio for you here from my producer.
Adversity, or overcoming adversity. Shayness was on Queer Street for a good minute there when his legs were not underneath him, was not once but twice able to stay composed, get a good bite on the single, and completely...
Yeah, guys, welcome to the dojo. So, this story actually takes place in Hawaii, on Oahu, and this particular scrap took place down in Honolulu, so in a parking lot, and I think it was a strip mall parking lot, believe it or not. Anyway, we used to do like lawn maintenance for this strip mall and shit every week, and so this one week, I in particular wasn't down there on this particular trip, but my buddy that I had moved to Hawaii with, from Minnesota, he was down there this day with them, and he was down there with Jack. If you know Jack from some previous mixed martial arts stories of the week, you'll know Jack and the kind of character he is. But anyway, he was down there with Jack, and the other guy we worked with, his name was August. August, this guy was a big guy from Oregon. Thick guy, square head. He had like a little bit longer hair, like blonde, blue eyes, like a big guy, and he was a nice guy. I liked August a lot. He smoked grass. He was super chilled out, super respectful, did his work and stuff, and I liked August a lot. And anyways, Jack wasn't a real bad guy, but he got on people's nerves. And like, if you know Jack, he's a little bit bipolar and stuff like that. He's a little bit of a lot to handle some days, especially when he's pissed off. But this day, August had just had enough of him, and I'm with August on this, But anyway, they ended up fighting. Jack and August ended up fighting. Jack's like 150 pounds, and August was probably like 185, and just pretty tough. But August wasn't a fighter, man. He was a lover, a chilled out dude, and like talking about cool shit. And he looked like he could pick up a chainsaw with a couple of fingers. And he wasn't a completely huge, like, he wasn't bigger than 6'4", but 6'4", 185 is pretty big and in shape for what it's worth, just naturally. And they ended up fighting in the strip mall parking lot, my buddy said that day. And I'm not sure if he had a video of it or what, but I don't know. But he said, Jack hung in there just because of his experience fighting Hawaiians his whole time growing up, being a Caucasian. Jack had to survive growing up. But, August just had enough of him. Even though he wasn't a fighter, he was told Jack, fuck you, and, we're fighting. And I think it ended up being just like, they kind of were just yelling at each other and talking to each other during the whole fight, my buddy said. August was like mad that he had to punch him and stuff like that. So poor August, shout out to you up in Oregon if you're listening, August. He was a beast. And actually, now that I'm just talking about this, I remember August being man, what a badass. He was into UFC, and he knew Chris Lieben at the time. It was back then when Chris Lieben was in the Fight House, and we were all watching it on Spike. Yeah, August had been like at a party or two with Chris Lieben. He's like, yeah, dude, fucking like pretty chilled out dude, whatever, normal shit. So fucking right. I'm glad I just remembered that. So yeah, good shit. But anyways, guys, that's the mixed martial arts story of the week. Shout out to August, who just had enough of Jack and said, fuck you, and earned Jack's respect after that. And that's the mixed martial arts story of the week, boys. All right, next up we got Randy Rude Boy Brown versus Jack de la Maddalena. Maddalena be the Australian at home at 26 years old, and Rude Boy's 32. Rude Boy is at a plus 240, and Jack's at a minus 310 right now. So I think for this fight, Jack is aggressive early. He pushes the action. His strikes are really accurate. He's looking for him. He's very technical with them. He's younger. Rude Boy, he gets backed up and against the fence, and he's kind of hittable. He's got decent head movement and, good jiu-jitsu, but he's a little bit sloppy, like his hands-down style. And the way he gets backed up and with how aggressive Jack is, I think that Jack's going to find a punch on Randy, and I think he's going to put him away. I think it might be in the first round or two also, so I'm going to take Jack by round 1 or 2 TKO. And that's all I got on this one. And I'm not sure if we got any bets on this one or not yet, guys, but we'll find out later. All right, we got Jimmy the Brute Crute versus Atomic Alonzo Menifield. Menifield is at a plus 185, and Crute's at a minus 230. So Crute's going to be fighting at home here. That's why I think the odds are in his favor. He's the favorite. And I see with Jimmy, I used to like him. I like his nickname, the Brute, but he's not that focused. He's pretty hittable. He doesn't have any head movement. He's kind of sloppy. I feel like, on the other hand, Alonzo's really focused and really determined on picking his strikes and winning the fight. And Crute's just not as purposely focused. Just feel like he's a little more lackadaisical, and Alonzo's really tight and really aware. And like against Misha Cirkunov, Misha put like 3 takedown fakes out there, and he tried 4 different serious takedowns, and Alonzo was able to prevent all of those and put away Misha after that. But I think Alonzo, he also survived Paul Craig Things like that show me that maybe he's got enough defense to stay in there against Jimmy and maybe put Jimmy away too because of how hittable Jimmy is. We know we're going to see some of Alonso's shots coming, but I think Crute just doesn't have the movement to get out of the way, and I think Alonso might crack him. Alonso's got plenty of takedown defense to beat Crute here in that department, in my opinion. So I'm going to lean towards the underdog here in Alonso, and I'm going to take Alonso to get the win by TKO at some point. We got Justin Badman Taffa versus Parker Porter. Parker Porter, he's at a plus 120, and the Badman is at a minus 145. Decent odds. Porter's 37 years old, almost 38, and Taffa is 29, just turned 29. So, I feel like Taffa, he's got heavy hands. He's thick, Islander. Dude's got really good natural kinetics and doesn't get off balance much and stays pretty tight with his punches. Really tries to pick him, what he's going to throw, and tames his power on him. And he's pretty smart in there. He throws with all intentions. Anything he's doing, he's always focused on his mission. Got himself out of a submission attempt from Hunsucker there. It was pretty nice. He was on it the whole way and played it smart just to not take any damage, and he's really picked his shots well. Porter, on the other hand, made some money on his debut, I think, to the UFC, but the guy's just getting older and he's just not that great anywhere, and he's just kind of a brawler. His punches are shorter. He kind of reaches for him, and I think Taffa's going to be able to pick him apart in that way. He's going to see what's going on with him really quick. He's got a little bit of head movement and stuff, but anytime he comes in with one or more punches, it's something that Taffa's going to be able to pick him apart, and I think Taffa's going to be able to land a big shot and put Parker down. So I think in this one, I'm going to go with Taffa by TKO at some point, and I'm pretty confident in that, but I'm not sure about any bets on that one yet, boys. All right, co-main event, we got Yair El Pantera Rodriguez versus Josh Emmett. Emmett's a plus 140. Rodriguez is a minus 170. So the odds aren't super swayed either way, but I'm not really feeling too strongly one way or the other. So I'm going to stay away from this fight in particular when it comes to betting. So I'm actually just going to enjoy this fight. We know whoever wins this is going to get the fight for the title against Volkanovski. So that's all I got to say on this one, boys. If you got any bets on it, good luck to you. And if you got any strong feelings about bets on this one, post it in the comments. Otherwise, good luck to you. We got the main event, Islam Makhachev versus Alexander the Great Volkanovski. Volk's coming up to challenge for the belt, as we all know. And in this fight, I think Islam, just the fact that he is bigger, is going to have a lot to do with this fight. I feel like Alexander's going to have a hard time controlling Islam. Islam's going to have a lot of good technique along with his weight, and with that Sambo lifetime and his weight additionally on top of that against Volkanovski, I think that's going to be enough to control Volkanovski, and no matter what, he's going to win by decision. And maybe Islam could win by a submission, potentially, if he could somehow tire out Alexander, just from Alexander having to push a big body around, that extra energy he's going to have to use. But, those are going to be my thoughts on this fight. The odds, I think last time I checked, it was minus 400 for Islam. Yeah, and then plus 310 for Alexander. So I'm staying away from that fight no matter what, but I could pop Islam into a DraftKings lineup or something like that, because I think he's going to score takedowns and control time for sure. So those are my thoughts on the main event, boys. Good luck to you if you got any other bets on that one, or you're betting on the underdog. All right, you guys know what time it is. You can break down the kicks, you can break down the punches, you can break down the stats, but at the end of the day, you got to break down the bets. All right, this week we're going to go with 3 different parlays and a single bet. First parlay is going to be Zubaria Tukhugov and Klidson Rodriguez together. Second parlay is going to be those two guys and Jack Della Maddalena. And the third parlay is going to be also Zubaria, Klidson, but it's going to be Alonzo Menafield in that one. And then our only single bet for on record here, we're going to have one on Alonzo Menafield as a plus 185 underdog right now. We got a bet on him the other day, but at a plus 170. I was afraid the odds were going to go the other way, but apparently money's coming in on Jimmy the Brute, so that's good. But that's all I got for the bets this week, guys. Otherwise, I'm confident in Islam. I'm confident in Justin Tafa and decently confident in Tyson Pedro. But, put your money where you want. And last but not least, my producer's favorite bet of the week, the draw of the week. And, it seems like a silly bet. We kind of know it's just a fun bet. But my producer likes really good odds on bets. And he's smart for that because this is like one of the best odds you can get on any bet. Although it is very rare to happen. It does happen, and if you could find out where it happens, wouldn't that be great? He throws 50 cents on it every week, and it's a payout of like $33 for that. So it's cool, and since he likes that bet, and I started doing this, he does the podcast for me and puts it all up on the internet and shit and all that just for nothing. So I really actually work hard at this bet for him, just because I think it'll be tight if we could hit this bet not once, but more than once in a year or a period. So I really do look at this fight, at this bet, and try to figure out which fight it's going to be. Pretty decently hard. I put some effort into it anyways, as much effort as you can, But anyways, this week I think it's going to be Melzik Bagdasaryan versus Josh Kulabau. And that's the draw of the week, boys. All right, till next week, guys. Life before death. Strength before weakness. Journey before destination. Keep it real.